Guys, there has been a party without me here in Hex of Steel. And what I mean by this is that this game, since the last video that I have uploaded on the channel, has got a plentiful of changes and additions that are going to blow your mind. First of all, to name a few, we have differentiation from small and big harbors, graphical improvements in RAM usage, new settings for autosaves, optimized AI fleet composition, tweaks in manpower growth for better balance, and the most exciting one, the addition of new drawing and erasing tools. The developer of the game has dubbed this the Operation Pencil Sharpener. And of course, if you are interested in the whole changelog, you can visit Steam to get the whole fixes and additions from the Steam page. So we have to be excited because for the whole digital wargaming world, this title is now the talk of the wargaming community all over the globe. And you have to check this because this is just the beginning, and we know that Valentin is going to continue improving and developing this gem of a wargame. With that being said, we're going to continue here in the channel with the Spanish Civil War. We're going to take exactly the moment that we left before, and we're going to go straight into the action. So let's see you on the map. It is the year 1936, and Spain finds itself on the precipice of a cataclysmic struggle for its soul. After years of simmering political tension, the nation's fragile democratic foundations crumble beneath the weight of deep-rooted divisions. The lines are drawn as the Republicans, fighting for social reform, democracy, and workers' rights, confront the Nationalists determined to establish an authoritarian regime under General Francisco Franco's leadership. The Spanish Civil War was a testing ground for military strategies and technologies that would shape the future of warfare, unleash the potency of new weapons, from tanks and aircraft to artillery and infantry rifles, as you adapt and innovate on the battlefield. But remember, victory depends not only on firepower, but also on your ability to exploit tactical advantages, capitalize on your enemy's weaknesses, and maintain the morale of your troops. So the last turn summary, we got 7 kills for Spain, which we are the Nationalists, and our enemy is the Spanish Republic, and they built 2 units, we lost 1 unit. So far so good. So this is the huge map and beautiful map of Iberia, and as I mentioned before, we have this new option here. If you go right in here, you can click here, and voila, we have the ability to write on the actual map. And let me tell you that for me, this addition is one of the best things. Feel free to comment what do you think. I'm going to separate the map in 5 sections. The first section is always going to be the section of the Balearic Isles over here. The next section is going to be this part, which is the south. This is going to be the second section. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. The third section is the area of Extremadura, which is here in the middle. This is the third section. In the north, we're going to separate the north in 2. Well, basically the actual north in here is going to be the 4th section, and in between Navarra and the area that is colindant with Catalonia, we're going to have the fifth section. So now what we're going to do is to concentrate ourselves down here in Menorca. We have this 46th garrison that we have sent to take Menorca. Menorca has been defended by the 73rd garrison of the Democratic Republic of Spain. So we can do two things. We can wait for the next turn, or we can unload the troops over here. So up to this point in the first section, what we're going to do is to wait. So we're going to go straight into the south of Spain, and we're going to analyze what is going to be the situation over here. So right now here in the southern part, where we can see Algeciras, we have again another light infantry division. This is the 38th Land Infantry Division on the sea, and we have our 17th garrison that up to this point is not very good with morale, so we could attack the garrison that we can find right now here in a small harbor. This is one of the new additions on the actual game, that we have differentiation in between this small harbor and the actual harbor. So you can see that the harbor provides 50% of defense and the small harbor provides 30%. In terms of what we can do here, again, we are not going to unload these troops. We're going to continue in here, and actually we have another guys here, if you can see. So we're going to move to the north, and we're going to analyze what we're going to do in here. The first thing I can tell you is that if you note, I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and I'm going to take a little bit of a color here. If you note, this is the area of Portugal, and we have, I'm going to make the actual pencil a little bit thicker, and you can see that over here I'm going to draw the actual frontier of Portugal. Over here I'm going to stop, because here I'm going to change the color and I'm going to show you something. The color that I'm drawing right now is a frontier that is not colindant with our territory. So this is paramount for us to take. This area is going to be very important, and this area comprises of Aracena and Huelva. The thing is that Huelva over here has golden border in the actual flag, meaning that this is an important victory settlement. So you are going to get a lot of victory points. This is an important victory condition for our operations. So we will have to take this one first, and to do that we will have to reorganize the strategy that we're going to use in this area. Okay, so let's begin with the new operations, that the new strategy that we are going to use to take Huelva. It's going to be our focus to take this city. So what we're going to do is going to be the following. We have here, if you remember, if you don't, you can check the previous chapter. We have here what is called an engineer division. Now, if you want to cross rivers, you must have an engineer on the actual tile where the river is, so that way you can actually cross the river. So for example, I cannot move these two guys in this moment. I cannot move this one, because to move this one I would have to cross the river and then put this card in here, but this tile is now occupied. So basically what we can do is to attack or or let this first light infantry division on the tile, and the enemy then is going to decide what to do. But what we're going to do is pretty much, we're going to take these two guys. This is the 2nd Light Infantry Division, and this is the 5th Heavy Infantry Division, and we're going to pull them to the west, because we need a lot of force to be, we need to push in the west. So we're going to leave Écija alone up to this point. Sadly, we can say that perhaps these guys over here, the 9th Light Infantry Division, that are in this village, they could attack us. But there's nothing we can do. We cannot move this guy, we can attack, but as you can see, it says that we're going to get more damage than them, and that is pretty self-explanatory because this area is a village and they have the protection of the actual houses. You can see a number here and it says deploy units. These are units that I have bought. You can buy units with money that is located here, or you can, but you as well, need manpower. The thing is that right now we have a maximum manpower of 787,000 and we have fielded more than the actual maximum manpower. What this means that right now we have available manpower 0. What we are going to do is, every time that you take a city, it could be a village, a city, or whatever, you have the possibility to get more manpower. You can change that as well here within policies. For example, here in conscription, you can see here that it says war conscription. You need HQ points. We have 10 HQ points in this moment. These are high command points, are earned at fixed rate of +5 every turn. Additionally, you can earn +1 HQ point every time you capture an enemy victory point. The victory points are the cities that are with this gold border, for example. This is a victory point that is very important. This is a gold victory point, and of course these victory points are as well, they count as well as victory points. Again, going back to policies, you can see down here that it says that war conscription means that you have +5% recruitable population, but it is going to give you -5% damage dealt by units that are level 1. Then you have this area here that says occupation, and then you see here several options: balanced approach, aggressive approach, secret police, and forced labor. First of all, we have balanced approach. Balanced approach says that we have a penalty of 50% partition spawn rate, and then we have +15% recruitable population in occupied territories, +15% production from captured territories, so on and so forth. Some of these are going to give penalties to partition spawning and are going to increase recruitable population. And pretty much this one, the forced labor, is going to increase partition spawning and in that case get more production, so on and so forth. It is all going to depend on what option are you going to select. So far this is the way you can get this number to go up. So, with that being said, we can understand that there is going to pass a lot of time before we can surpass the actual fielded forces, meaning that we would get a higher amount of maximum manpower. In the meantime, we can, for example, buy things. If you go down here, you can see that you can buy, over here, you can buy, for example, these are landmines that you see a 0 here. This means that they don't use manpower, as well as naval mines. There are, for example, some others. I think that those are the only ones, because the other ones, they need manpower to be able to buy them. So the other thing that we can buy, for example, is this. This means that we can, it says here, deployment rule around destroyers, but it's going to be a waste of money, even though they are very cheap. But it's going to be a waste because, as far as we know, we are not fighting with naval units from the Republicans. What do I mean by this is that perhaps they have most of their units here in the Mediterranean, but we have most of our units over here in the Atlantic and here in this Northern Sea. So basically, if we are going to start fighting in this side, then we could start thinking about those mines, which are the actual naval mines. But by the time being, I think we are safe. And now that we are talking about the sea here, there's an interesting thing that I am thinking about, sending troops from Ceuta to the north, and in a few moments I'm going to tell you why I'm thinking to do that. So, because we already know that we cannot move this, and we're not going to fight against this. Sadly, we cannot pull back because there's no space and this guy cannot move. So, as I mentioned before, this unit over here and this one here, we're going to use them to reinforce the western area here, and we're going to use them to attack Aracena. Because at this moment, we only have this artillery over here, and perhaps some of these units here that I'm thinking as well in moving them over here, because we have an actual engineer here that can help our units to cross the actual river that we're seeing here. So what is going to be the plan? So the plan is going to be to move these units over here. They are going to move through the roads, and then they are going to cross the rivers either to this thick forest, and then this one is going to cross over here perhaps. So that way we're going to get more reinforcements. As I mentioned before, we're going to take this unit as well over here. So that way we have 3 units that are going to reinforce here. And of course, in between here, because we see here that we have, for example, here a light artillery battalion and a light anti-tank battalion. So I think we don't need these 2 units over here. So we can pull them back, but they are going to stay there by the time being. We're not going to move them because we don't know what is happening over here. So we're going to leave these 2 guys here. These guys are going to be some sort of reserve. So it's always important to have a reserve. And then over here, we have this unit here that is a light artillery battalion. This unit is important. Actually, this unit, we have used fuel with this unit because we have already moved it. But that means that we can move the unit over here in this forest. I think we're going to do that, or we can move it here and then go through here. I think we're going to do the following. We're going to move it here. As you can see, this gray bar means that the actual morale is not full. And over here, for example, we can see that if we go and we click here, it's going to cost 1. 1 means 1 in the actual income summary. So if we do this, it's going to get us fuel, okay? but is not going to do anything about the actual morale. As you can see, if I zoom in a little bit, you can see that the morale is still great. Okay, we are good with this. We're not moving these guys, and then we're going to think what is going to be the situation over here. Now, over here we have the 2nd Light Infantry Division. These guys are pretty much, they are covered by the village and by the houses over here in Valverde. And then here in Huelva, we have the 1st garrison in full strength, that is pretty much over the harbor here, that is the place that we want to take. We have over here, however, destroyers. We have one destroyer here and another one down here. This is simply the name. Over here we see the light cruiser. This is a slightly bigger guy that has more range, so we can shoot from behind because it's bigger. This guy can shoot at this guy safely from the water, and we can bombard pretty much Huelva. So one of the important things is that we have this fleet over here, and we will bombard Huelva as long as we have our fleet over here. And I think we're not going to be the actual area here is not going to be contested by the enemies in any shape or form in terms of fleet power, so we're very, very safe in here. Another thing that we have here is over here. For example, we can attack these guys with our garrison, but I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to do it because the odds are very equal, so I don't think it's going to be worth it. So in the meantime, this guy is going to sit here in this thin forest. Let's take into account that thin forest as well is going to protect the actual unit that is on that tile. So if this guy tries to attack me, I'm going to be a little bit protected over here. Now, let's see here. We have over here another garrison unit that we can move up here. We can either move it through here, but it's blocked by these units, as you can see, or we can use this swap between available transport modes, ship, train, or plane. So if we click this, we're going to put these guys on this ship, and then we can move them through here. I think this is what we're going to do. So we're going to take them here, we're going to move them here, and the next turn we're going to be able to unload them here. Over here we see that we could either attack this guy, which is not good because of the morale. This guy has better morale and it's grayed out, so we cannot do anything with it. However, he's inside the thick forest, so this means that these guys, they are full health. These guys are not full health, but at this point we need to move this guy away from this, because even though we are inside the thick forest, I think these guys have the opportunity to attack us. So what I'm going to do is to move this guy down here into the road, because this guy, even though he's full health, he does not have full morale. So we're going to move away from it. And then we have here the 1st Light Anti-Tank Battalion. I'm going to talk about the fact that we have anti-tank battalions and what are the possibilities that we're going to be facing tanks. But up to this point, the thing is that this guy over here is inside the thick forest, so it's okay. We're not going to move this guy here. The good thing is that we can shoot at this guy, not right now, but in the next turn perhaps. I'm pretty sure that we're going to be able to do that. Now, it's important to note that there's a lot of things to think right now. So we're going to use this new tool to help us. So pretty much this is going to be our tile that we're going to use as indirect fire tile. And I'm going to place to right here indirect fire. So this is our indirect fire tile. This means that we're going to fire into this village with this weapon that we have here. Okay, so that is the indication that this is going to be our indirect fire tile. We could perhaps move it down here because it's pretty much the same tile. It could be this one or this one. Actually, I'm going to redraw the same thing here, so that way we know that these are going to be our indirect fire tiles. So the only thing that is left for us to do in this second section is perhaps to start the bombardment of Huelva. So again, we have here a full garrison with full health. So this means that we're going to use these guys to bombard. So let's start. We begin with this guy. Is going to bombard this harbor and is going to do a damage of 5. So we're going to begin. Actually, this guy cannot harm it. Oh, actually, we need to move one tile if we want to harm, because as you can see, there's a number 1 here in orange. This means that, and even if you hover here, you can see, if I take the mouse over, you're not going to be able to see, but now you can see the adjacent hexes are now red. This means that this is the area that this unit can, that's the range of the area that this unit can shoot. So we are going to move these guys here, and now we can shoot. Then we're going to take these guys and shoot again. Then you can see that these guys are now not 50. This means that we have killed some of the actual garrison. And then we're going to shoot with this guy, which is going to make, of course, more damage. And now they are 31 of 50, and their morale is now low. Good. Now let me talk a little bit about Portugal. Portugal, if you go to diplomacy, you have the opportunity in this scenario to have diplomatic relations with Portugal and France. Now, we are the nationalists against the Democrats. This means that it's not going to be very, very easy or logical to get some sort of diplomatic relation with France, which is a democracy. But Portugal is a kingdom, and now Portugal is neutral. If you see here, it says that we can invite the Portuguese into a faction. If we click here, it says that you don't have enough funds, and we need 11,100 funds. That is money that we're gaining 750 per turn. So we're going to be able to get an alliance only when we're able to send an amount of money. We can use money lend lease. We can create or join a faction, as you can see here. Create or join a faction. Enter faction name, create or join. These guys are not on an actual faction, because this means that we are in the Axis faction and these guys are in the Allied faction. And these guys do not have. Okay, so that's pretty interesting, the fact that we can create or join a faction. Good. Okay, right now we have finished everything here, so now we're going to move to the third section, which is the section of Extremadura. In here, we can see, if we zoom in, that there's a unit here, the 4th Light Infantry Division. They say they are here in the village of Almendragelo. These guys are full health. However, these guys, the 5th Militia Division, they are about to be destroyed, and they are in plains. Plains do not provide any defenses, so we can destroy them. For example, Here we have a grayed out 3rd Light Infantry Division, which we are not going to use. This guys here is these are our light artillery battalion. We cannot shoot at them. And then we have these guys that we can move. So perhaps we can, let's see. I think if we have here light artillery battalion as well, that we can move here, I think that is going to be good if we move them. If we move them here, I'm pretty sure these guys are going to take advantage of the position, and they are going to attack me. So I'm pretty much stuck in here with this. These guys are grayed out. In here we have anti-air battalion. There are no airplanes to be seen. And here we have more light anti-air battalion. These two are anti-air battalions. So the only thing we can do is perhaps to move this guy either here. I think we are pretty much stuck in here. Indeed. And these guys here can start healing. Okay, I think we're going to heal. This is good. So we're pretty much good here. There's nothing we can do. We can move here, but these guys, if you see, they have 63 of 100, which is something that is not going to help. So I think we are going to stay like this in here. Okay, now let's move to the north. Okay, here there's a complete different situation. Now, here we have Burela del Cabo, and Burela, I'm going to call this Burela. Burela is a village with a garrison. We have the 15th Light Infantry Division here, which is full health, and we have a garrison approaching on the roads. Now, let me go and show you something interesting here. Here we have research. In research here, we have these that represent different years, and here we have everything that has been researched for us in 1936. And then we have here, for example, this is with this lock, because you have to be in this year to be able to get this. In the majority of the cases, you can see that the majority of the actual technologies are available up to 1939. This guy is locked. This is a carro veloce. This is an Italian car. For example, if you click here, you can start the progress to research it. So that's exactly what we did, and we're going to wait 6 turns for these to be researched. Then there are, for example, this one. We don't have more research points. We can instead of getting the actual Italian car, we could perhaps get this Heinkel 51. If there's an option here, this one is already researched. Or here, for example, the Canarias class heavy cruiser, which I don't think is going to be useful. So we have 2 options. We can go for this one, or we can go for the actual... This is an airplane. We don't have airplanes. We can buy our airplanes. I mean, by buying, I mean going here in purchase units. We can go to airplanes, and we can buy this one. You can see that it costs 370, but we need 2,000 manpower. So because of the manpower, we're not able to get one of those. And soon we're going to talk about the landmines as well. So Okay, let's go again here. So I think we're doing good with, these are, as you can see, fighters, and we have the possibility to get here heavy bombarders, heavy bombers, or fighters. I don't think we're going to need fighters. This Italian one is good. This is the French Renault. We have the Panzer I. This is the German one. We have the other the Breda and the A versions. We have here the other Italian instance of the Carro Veloce. This is the L335 and the L333, and another Renault of the French. So I think this is good. We're going to wait for this. You can see the difference in damage. You can see that this guy has better reconnaissance. So I think that this one is going to be much better. This one is cheaper, I think. 170. And this is a little bit more expensive. Okay, that is for research. And the other one that we have already started the research is this one, the M1937, the 45mm. This is anti-tank, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, anti-tank, of course. So over here in the north, we have several villages with garrisons. And if you see, because we are here in the border with Portugal, and we know that Portugal is neutral, we can start sending these garrisons and start getting a little bit more of force in the north. The garrisons are good because right now here in Burela the only enemy that we have is this, which is a garrison, the 5th garrison. So we can send the garrisons here to the north. This means that we're going to leave Vigo, Orense, and all of these villages alone. I don't care. So we're going to take these 4 garrisons here and we're going to pull them north. So first we're going to move this one here. We're going to take this one here. Then we're going to continue pushing over here. This means that I'm going to draw here because finally we can do plans like this. These guys are going to move here, and then they're going to consolidate here in Lugo. This one as well is going to do the same. Let's just draw a beautiful arrow here, and then this guy is going to go here and here, and finally this one as well, and we're going to reinforce in here. And then we have this one that we can send over here and then unload over here. So that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to send these guys here. These guys are going to attack here. And finally we get these 2 units over here. These 2 units don't have good morale. I attack it, or I retreat. No, actually I can't. So I think it's going to be better to attack, even though I'm going to get a lot of damage, but that's my best option. We can take this one. You can see that the morale is gray, so we can take this one and perhaps try to shoot at it. I don't know. So this guy stays here, and let's fight. Let's fight with this one. Okay, we lost 21. This is 35 of 50. So now let's do damage here. So now they are half the health, so that's good. And I don't care because right now I am about to reinforce here, so everything is going to be okay here. Now let's go here. Okay. Now, over here we see that Viablino is not defended. There's no one here. But we don't know what happens here. There's a big question mark in here. So, over here we know that in Oviedo, which is a very important city, we see that we have the 10th Light Infantry Division. It's a little bit battered, as you can see, 24 of 100. And then we see in Gijon as well a battered garrison. So we can bombard. Well, at least that's what I thought. This guy here, apparently we cannot do it because of the actual update. I don't know if the update bugged the thing, because every single unit that was part of the previous save, I think right now, even though I am on range, as you can see, I'm unable to shoot. So that's basically because of the update. I think I have lost the ability to attack, but that is going to be just for this turn, I'm pretty sure. Never mind. So we have here a destroyer, 2 destroyers. So because we cannot attack here, I'm going to move here and try to scout over here. So let's move here. And with this, I'm going to move here. Just by moving my fleet, I can see that in this village, there's a garrison. We see here a light artillery battalion on these roads, near this other village. And in Santander, which is a very important area, including this airfield, in this harbor we have, again, another garrison. So at least we know that this area is very well protected. So there are, over here there are we have 2 options to invade the north. As you can see, there's a mountain chain here, and there's another village here, and there's a choke point here. We're going to talk about this in a few seconds. Let me just go here and let's see what we can do over here. So we have the option here to take Viablino. As you can see, we have that option. We can still reinforce, but there's a choke point here as well. So as you can see, the only area that we can enter here is over here. There are 2 mountain chains over here, and then we have this village and another mountain here. So this is a very, very difficult area that I don't want to march further here because I don't know what is happening here. So basically what I'm going to do is to at least move this guy here, because this light artillery I cannot move. So I'm going to move this guy here, and now I know that there's nothing here. Now I'm sure that there's nothing here. These guys are a little bit battered with low morale, so these guys need to return here. So this is paramount. These units need to return. Okay. The only area that we don't know about is this. Now, with that being said, now we are going to talk about the most interesting area here. And this area, because of the complexity of the terrain here, this area leads us to tanks and the actual thing that I mentioned at the beginning of the video about Ceuta. So, what do I mean by this? Well, if you see here, we're about to destroy this in Guardo. This guy is 14 of 100, so it's very weak. There are not too many of these guys over here. This light infantry division is about to be lost. And then we have in this hill another light infantry division. This is the 20th light infantry division. Again, there have been a little bit of a fight in the mountains, because you can see that this guy is 71 of 100 and this guy is 65 of 100. The thing is that with this guy, let's remember that we cannot shoot at these guys because we have lost the ability because of the, I'm pretty sure it's because of the update. So what I can do, I cannot pull back, so I can move this one at least. But he's going to stay there. I'm pretty sure that these guys are going to attack me here in this mountain. So it's going to be a little bit sad. And this is the only guy that I am a little bit worried, because this guy has good morale. This is nothing. But there's nothing we can do. Okay, now, let's go here. The only place that we can move here is through this bridge north of Burgos. This is the only place that we can move, so we have a choke point here. There is an actual river here, and if we follow the river, this means that, for example, if I would want to move, let's say, this guy here, I cannot move through here. There's no way I can cross here, no way I can cross here. Even though if I would be able to cross over here, then I would have access to this area in this other tile. But by now, even if these guys want to move, the only way they can move is here. To fix this, I have two options. I can right now attack this with the actual anti-tank battalion. Actually, I cannot reach that guy, which is weird, as you can see, because these guys have two, and this is one tile and two tiles, but whatever. The only guy that I can shoot is this one, and it's a light anti-tank battalion. But as I was saying, we have the option of doing that. This guy is about to die, so this, if I shoot with my light anti-tank battalion, I'm going to destroy this unit, and then this area is going to be free. But I want to have more flexibility. What do I mean by this? Well, actually, I'm going to show you something. If you click this unit that is inside an actual town, you have the option here that says upgrade the currently selected unit. If you click there, you can change the actual unit. Instead of that being a garrison, you can change it to be, for example, you can see here, it's a garrison, and then to upgrade, for example, to militia. Okay? And then you hit upgrade, but it says you don't have enough manpower to complete your upgrade. Let's say, for example, this unit has 2k, but all of these units have 15, 15, 15, 15, and this one has 5. So at least I need 3k to be able to upgrade to militia. And as you can see, I can upgrade to light infantry, to cavalry, to heavy infantry, even to engineers. But the thing here is that I need manpower to do that, and the actual garrison should be inside a town. But we have another way to do that. Let's go to Ceuta, and let me show you how are we going to do that. we have here the 3rd Engineer Division, and here we have the 4th Engineer Division. Now, the reasoning behind this is the following. We know that everything that is from the Pillars of Hercules to the east, I mean the Mediterranean, this is area of the fleets that are, for example, fleets that could be perhaps in here, in Barcelona, or even here in Valencia. So we are not naive, and we know that there should be some sort of fleets over here, right? Now, everything that is here to the east is the Mediterranean. This is part of the Republicans. And now we have control over the Atlantic, because Portugal is neutral, so this means that we can traverse this area without any opposition. And we know from here that they don't have any fleets over here. The only thing that is in doubt is, for example, this small harbor. But I'm pretty sure these guys don't have. So what I'm going to do is that we're going to send, here is a safe zone. So we're going to write in here, safe zone, safe seas. These are safe waters. So because these are safe waters, we can send our engineers to the north. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to take these guys, board these guys into the ships, and then we move them. So there we go. And the plan is to move these guys. So let me show you. We're going to move these guys through here. We're going to go north over here. And then we have to decide where in here we're going to deploy them. As far as I can see, this is going to take a lot of time. I'm going to make a line here. This is the actual choke point again. So this village could be taken, and Bilbao could be taken up to this airfield. We're going to take Bilbao and this village, and in the meantime we're going to wait for the engineers. So the engineers, I'm going to drop them basically in La Coruña. So La Coruña is going to be the landing point. So that's for the two engineers. They are going to be moved here in La Coruña. And then they are going to be moved through here. Up to... Wow, it's going to take a lot. We could move down here and then here, and finally here to Burgos, so we can get them to these two areas. It is going to depend, because if by that moment I am able to attack in two sides, then I think this place is pretty much doomed by that time. But we're going to see. Okay, So that's the thing with the actual engineers. So because we cannot do anything here, we need as well to think about some reinforcements. And we need Recon to understand what is happening here in this area that is covered in fog of war. To do that, I'm going to select over here the order of battle, and here, up here, I'm going to go to tanks, because we have one tank, which is this one, over here. This is a Panzer Breda. So we have this Panzer Breda, and we're going to move this Panzer Breda to the north to reinforce here. We could move it through Saldana and then take this side, which I think is going to be the best option. So let's move this guy here. And then we're going to indicate here that this guy is going to go through here, and then it's going to reach here. And then we have as well, if you select here all, there's another way to do it. You type here Recon, and then it's going to list all the Reconnaissance units that you have. So we have this Reconnaissance Battalion, the first Reconnaissance Battalion, which are horses. And I'm going to send the horses here because I would like to see them to show us what is happening in this area. So the color for the Recon that I have selected is going to be black, sort of black. So I'm going to send this guy here. And then here. Okay. Amazing. So there's nothing we can do here. At least we can shoot and destroy it. So it's a good opportunity for us to do that. So now that unit has now disappeared. Now let me just erase this part because we already know that this is the choke point. We just take again the indication for the actual Recon unit, and then let's move here to Navarra. Okay, here in Navarra I have light infantry division, 41st, a garrison here, 2 garrisons. We have a light infantry division, so we can move here. Let's pull here in the thick forest, and now we see that we confirm that there are no fleets here, so there's nothing we can worry about. This is safe seas, as I was expecting, and here we can shoot or we cannot. So pretty much what we're going to do is to do that, because we're protected by the thick forest and they are protected by the village again. Let's see. We cannot even select these guys, so they're there. Here we have a battered garrison that we can, if possible, attack with some of these guys, which I don't see. Oh, actually, it was because of this. So I can still move these guys, which I'm not going to do. And then we have the option to shoot at this, which I'm not going to do. I'm going to pull back to the hills. With this I can shoot, which is not bad. I'm going to do it. I'm going to bombard Eibar. And then we have 2 garrisons here. I can move. This is thin forest, and these guys are battered, so what we're going to do is to heal the unit. By healing the unit right now, we are full morale. This way I can do the same with this. Okay. Let's refuel this one. And that's it. That's it here. Then we go here. This area is the area that is colindant with the Pyrenees and Catalonia. This is the last area that we're going to attack, including Madrid. Here in Madrid, we see something interesting. There's a mountain chain over here, and we see here fortifications. These are heavy infantry divisions. This place is very, very heavily defended. As you can see, there are a lot of fortifications, a lot of rivers. It's a very difficult area. So we can start like, let me move here and move these guys here, so we can move the actual artillery. Let's move this guy here, this one here. I can start shooting here, but I'm not going to do that. Let's move this one here, this one here, this one back here, and bring this one to the front. I don't want to be near here. Again, I'm bringing all the artillery to the actual mountains so we can have a little bit of an overwatch over here. Then this guy is light infantry. I'm going to push in here a little bit. And that's it. An interesting thing about this is that this guy, even though is sleeping, if you click here, is going to be, as it says, wake up. You can wake up or sleep the unit, but it doesn't matter because here we are blocked by mountains here and by a river here, so it's basically virtually impossible for this guy to move. So he's pretty much stuck in here, which is pretty funny. And then we're going to, we said that this guy is going to stay here. This guy is going to stay here as well. If possible, we're going to refuel. Nothing changes. And now with these, I'm going to shoot at these. It's going to do harm, which is good. I'm going to move this guy here just to see what is happening here, and then advance with these. And finally here, this is the last part, this is the 5th section, let's remember. And then here what I'm going to do is, I know that this guy, there have been a battle here, a skirmish. We have light anti-air battalion here. We have artillery battalion here that can shoot. It's perhaps something good that we can do, so we're going to do that. We can attack this guy with this. We're not going to move this garrison. This guy, because of this river, cannot cross, but he can move here, which I'm not going to do. We can change the position, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to go and shoot at this guy here. And finally, this guy is about to die. This light infantry division is about to be destroyed. And finally, I'm going to block this guy, so that way he cannot run away. Hopefully, there's nothing here that can be a threat, but we're still going to place these here because we don't know if they are able to attack us from here. Hopefully not. And just before wrapping up this amazing chapter, I'm going to show you which are the only units that can use landmines. And those units are the actual, let me go to order of battle and all. Let me just erase here. So we select here the engineers. Let's see this one. So we have one engineer here. The only place that we can set the mines are hexes that are adjacent to engineers that can move. It's pretty much the actual the actual areas that we can do the mines. So just the engineers can handle the mines, and you can place them here, for example. This means this is because I cannot move with this guy, so there are no actual hexes that I can place the mines around this guy, because this is a river hex, another river here, this is a river, this is a river, so the only hexes that can be placed are within this, and they are already occupied by other cards. Because of that I cannot use those, but I can use this here. So that's the way you place the actual landmines. So I'm going to end the turn. Some units in your reserve are ready to be deployed. Are you sure you want to end your turn? This is concerning the mines. So I'm going to say yes, and let's see what happens. Okay. I knew that would happen. Okay, they lost 4. This is recounting the actual units that were destroyed in our turn. This was Victus. See you in the next one.